Hello, my name is Rodney Johnson. Today we will be doing our risk matrix, looking at probability and severity. And the three situations I have are as follows. The first one is a pilot flying with a head cold with an ear infection. The number two, the second one would be not reporting the location when the CFI was flying in a untowered airfield with a student, and then and the third one was forgot to put down flaps when the pilot was on in the pattern for his final approach to the runway. So if you look at all three of these situations, they're all bad situations. The first one would be flying with a head cold in IFR conditions. That can play a significant role, especially if you don't have autopilot and you are trying to navigate based off your instruments with an inner ear infection. That's definitely a no-go situation, or it should be. And so based on our risk matrix here, we have kind of unknown to the industry, known in the industry, and then the top one, the middle one has happened before in the industry. The next one happens three times in the industry, and then happens more than three times in the industry. And then the next one is negligible, and then the next one is marginable, and then the next one here is significance, critical, and then catastrophic. So it means we have damaged property and probably souls lost at the catastrophic point there. So the first one, I would say we would use this. We would probably, if you were flying with a head cold and an ear infection in IFR conditions, we know it's happened before in the field, but I definitely think it would be in this critical realm right in here. And I don't necessarily think it would be a great idea for that pilot. The pilot should have done some self-reflection and done an acronym, as we know, as I am safe in the industry. And that's kind of a self-check, more or less, to make sure that he's well. Is he sick? Has he had food? Is he hungry? Is he on medication? And is there anything that's happening with him as the PIC, pilot in control, for that flight? And I would say that that would be definitely a critical mistake to do that by yourself or with passengers. The next one would be not reporting the location, flying in a untowered airspace. It's not uncommon that that happens. We know that that happens in these small rural airports. The problem with that is that it could be critical because there could be another aircraft coming in, and that pilot, PIC, could have easily hit something or someone within the airfield. And definitely radio communication is key, be it in a non-busy airfield or a busy airfield, be it towered or non-towered, and really just kind of going through your progressions on that checklist for the plane and for the pilot, to make sure that you're ready to fly, or you're flying and you're communicating. So again, that would be, it happens before, but again, critical, so it would land in this area here. The third situation that we are coming to is that the pilot forgot to put his flaps down before landing, and maybe when he did this, he did not have the what's the word I'm looking for? He did not have the right angle of tack that he was wanting, so he could have possibly overshot the runway and run to the end of it because he came in too fast not thinking that his flaps were up or down. So again, we know it happens in the industry. It really depends on a lot of different factors when you're flying, be it weather, the wind, the temperature, in the day there. And so I would say it's probably pretty significant, so it would land in this area here, but it could easily escalate to critical or catastrophic, depending on those other factors. And so it could be kind of a melting pot, and sometimes aviation is like that. It could be the perfect outside factors that could really make or break a flight or landing or takeoff if the pilot is not focused and engaged on what he or she is doing. So I would say with that, what we need to be doing is going through that checklist when we are landing, to making sure that if you're flying a certain aircraft, that you're going to be, for instance, I fly a Cessna 172. I have to do certain progressions when I'm doing my carb heat, when I'm in the pattern. I'm going through that checklist. I'm making sure that my flaps are down, and I'm making sure that my airspeed is good. And I'm going and reading everything, and I'm looking outside. I'm flying outside the plane because I'm a VFR pilot, not an IFR pilot. So there's definitely things that we are doing as we're flying and as we're landing to make sure that we're not doing any type of risky actions. But again, off those three, all three could have been preventable situations. So that concludes my risk matrix for those three scenarios. And there's my risk matrix there. Thanks. Have a good day.